All those Mavericks live in Texas, and the Grizzlies in Tennessee. I don't know. Welcome to the Daily. This has been a bad week for my intro songs. I'm going to workshop it over the weekend. I'm going to get better. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker, and I got Daniel Greer with me on this Friday. How are you, brother? I haven't got to do a show with you in a hot minute.
I know it has been a minute, but no, I'm great, Luke. Thank you for having me on. It's a beautiful Friday. The weather is, I believe, I don't know if I am a gopher or not, but I know that there potentially could be warmer weather coming up. So I hope that is the truth.
Man, that gopher, we put way too much faith in that gopher. But I'm fingers crossed as I knock my boom, because I'm sick of this will they, won't they, cold, warm weather. Before we came on, I had like a sneezing attack, and that's just basically, that's what it is. That's how my life is in the spring. You're going to find out how much I hate the spring this spring. But hopefully I won't have to hate the spring tonight, even if it is spring. Set your clocks back. We'll talk about that later. I don't know. I'm distracted. The Grizzlies will play the Dallas Mavericks this evening. On the road in Dallas. First of a 5-game road stand, 4-game. They're on the road for a hot minute.
Yeah. So at Dallas, at the Pelicans Sunday, and then you come back home for 3 games, 4 games. Yeah, so you're good. Yeah, so it's just that little stretch.
Well, the biggest thing that jumps out to me about this game tonight is how the injury report has 15 guys on it. I think that the Mavericks the Mavericks injury report looks like ours did last year. I mean, they are out AD, out Gafford, out Jaden Harvey, Kyrie, Derek Lively, Kai Jones, Maxence Prosper, and PJ Washington. Caleb Martin is questionable. Like Dante Exum is questionable. I don't know. We're just missing Jaren, it looks like, in terms of guys being out. I don't know. What would you like to see tonight, my friend? Because people are crashing out left and right. We're going to talk on that later. But, what do you want to see in this game? I mean, other than a win.
Right. No, so you want to have a moral victory other than a win, right? You want to have a dominant performance. At this point in the season, you should make the playoffs. There's no way that the Grizzlies should fall so far. I know that we're in the valley, right? We're in it, but there is another leveling point. There's also probably another peak at some point. But the point is, with the Grizzlies season, like, you're going to have the roller coaster of the season. It's all about what does it look like, not what the record is. Because I don't care, and I'm on record saying I don't care about the regular season record. As long as you're in the playoffs, top 6 seed, I'm okay. It's all about how you look. And so the Lakers didn't look good for much of the season. I know they made a big trade, but now, yes, their record looks good, but also their performance looks good. So I don't care about their record, the Grizzlies. I just care about what do they look like on the court.
Yeah, when record matches the product on the floor, that's the good synergy. That's synergy, man. That's like, here's the church, here's the steeple. Like, that's what you want. And open the door. Oh, get that out of here. Yeah, it's too early for that. Ugh. And I'm with you. I just want it to look good. I want the body language to look good. I want people to get back on defense, as dumb as that sounds. I just want to see. I believe it was one Dr. Daniel Greer who said something once upon a time about fire being in people's eyes. And I just want pride. Is like, we've been talking all this week. I just want these guys to go out there and play with some pride. And, there's not really a team out there to get your mojo back right now than the Dallas Mavericks, I would argue. Who do you just specifics about this? Who do you think starts tonight? Because it looks like Taylor has been getting a little. I mean, he's trying stuff, with Jaren out, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. So, if it was my opinion, I would go with a little bit of a smaller unit if it's me, and I would somehow find a way to get Edie to the bench at this point. It's not because that's like the opposite of what you normally say. In any other team, I would say yes, but this is a Dallas Mavericks team that wants to kind of switch you a lot, and they have no size. So if you're going to have Edie start, make him a part of your offense because they have no size. And so at this point, it's going to be about adjustments, but you're going to have obviously, Ja, Bane, Edie. I would go ahead and go with Vince because it could help you give you a little bit of a boost. And then a lot of people might say, maybe a Brandon Clark. I would personally go with Brandon Clark to open this game. It makes you fast. It gets you off to a hot start. And in all honesty, these other young guys that you have on that would be coming off the bench, they might be able to have a little bit more that they can relate to. Gigi might actually benefit from a guy like Edie being able to throw it down there and have a bigger target when he gets in trouble. So that's what I would do. I don't know if that's what that ends up happening. I think we see BC still come off the bench and then Edie start. But if it was me, I'd go ahead and run out Clark to start.
I mean, it's a very, very good point. I mean, if you run out, I mean, I honestly have no idea who Dallas is playing, who their bigs are right now, because I know PJ Washington was playing big minutes for them, and I have no idea. Like, they've got no size. And
Right. well, so you say that, and the problem is they're only going to go 8 deep because that's all they have.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to get higher minutes, which you're going to get 20 plus minutes out of every single person that plays. Okay, and that is the good and the bad. I like playing 8 guys normally during the regular season. You want to play at least 9, maybe 10, because of limiting minutes depending on the game. But you're going to have 20 minutes. That means that these guys, you're having some decent players play consistent minutes on this team. And so, in all honesty, I think that's harder to go against when you're the opposing team, as long as they don't get ran down. If they don't get ran down, and you possibly might be able to run them out with your type of offense. But in all honesty, I think it's actually harder to go against just 8 guys playing a decent number of minutes. And so, at that point, their big is Dwight Powell, and he is not very good. But you can easily play Edie against him, and maybe that's where you match up. But in my opinion, I would just go with Clark and see if you can run him off the court.
Yeah, I think that's Brandon Clark's been one of the most winningest guys on this team this year. I would say he just makes winning plays for this team, and I would hope it's like you said, it's how the product looks, and if they come out and they run him off the floor and look dominant, that would be really nice. It's like I don't care about the record, as long as they come out and they look the part tonight, that would be really nice. Yep. Anything else you want to say about this game? I don't really feel like there's much to talk about.
No, there's a hater amongst us, and I want to just bring light to the comment that I'm big mad at Edie. I actually like Edie. My problem, Rusty, get ready. My problem is how the coaching staff uses Edie. Listen, and I know that is not what you expected to hear today. I have said that many times. Usually nobody listens, but I think that Edie he's being used in an offense that he shouldn't be used in my opinion. And so at that point, you eventually got to either figure out how to use him, or you have to go away from him. And I think they're going away from him more. But maybe not with Jaren out. Maybe they can go ahead and target him and run him off the Steven Adams pick and rolls, because that is the offense that Ja needs. That's the offense that Edie needs. Hey, figure it out. I don't get paid the big bucks for that.
Yeah, we're not here for that. We're here to crack jokes about what they're doing. That's what we do. Right. When I think now, I didn't even intend for that to be a segue. Now it is now the time. You pointed this out yesterday. It's time to be positive, dude. It is time. Cracking jokes is important right now. Like pointing out what is good. Like people coming at you, dude.
That's great.
It's great. You were like, hey man, we need to have some positive stuff. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. There are stuff to be positive about. And you gave me this idea, and I was like, you know what? This is excellent. We want to give Grizzlies fans reasons to not jump off a bridge, off a building, out of a tree, anywhere that could result in bodily harm. We want to give you guys reasons to not do that, because it's not good. I don't think it's good. I'm scared to death of falling to my doom. Do you want to just go back and forth? I'll go first.
Yeah,
My first reason for Grizzlies fan not to jump is you're not Mavericks fans. Speaking of, just to keep it light and keep it funny, like the team we're playing tonight, if you are complaining about any kind of situation the Grizzlies are in, just take a look at the team that opposite us. Well, not opposite, I guess, down wherever you're at. Look at the team we're playing tonight and be like, hey, could be those guys, because those guys are bringing coffins to the damn stadium, and we're not doing that yet. Knock on wood. But that's one reason to not jump. You're not a Mavs fan.
Yeah, that is important, because if we were Mavs fans, I might have jumped already, because my God, they are getting, it's early morning. They're having problems. Okay. Having problems. But they're getting taken out to the woodshed, as we will call that. But my reason not to jump is you have a budding superstar that is on this team. And I'm not talking about Ja Morant. I'm talking about Jaren Jackson Jr. You can't teach size. I believe Enzo Amore said that one time. And I think that if you talk about Jaren and the unicorn that he really is, he's developing his game at such a high rate that he can be your X factor in almost every single game. So whether it's this season or next season, you're about to sign him to whatever money. I'm not going to have my hand in his pockets. One, it's kind of weird, but two, I don't care about counting his money. And so whatever happens. Let the execs figure out the money. Yep. But the dude is a unicorn. The dude should get his flowers, because he's been a true warrior the past few seasons for playing the amount of games he's playing, plus the style and development that he's brought to this team. It's gone way above what Ja is at the moment. It's not that Ja isn't good. It's about his potential and what he's unlocking right now.
Yeah, I mean, people have different paths in this league. Like, it's not everyone is on the same, like, oh, you go next. And like, that's not how it works. Jaren's trajectory currently is just different than Ja's, and he's owning it. It's great. I got another reason for people not to jump. Another reason, it's a number. I'll give you the number. 24.36. That is the average age of this Grizzlies team. 24. This Grizzlies team is still the 5th youngest team in the league. They are less than 25 years old, like on average in age. That means ideally, and with the way that this team is drafted, with the way that Kleiman Ashoni knows how to draft, and with the home runs, so to speak, that he said with like Jalen and I don't know, in park home runs with Gigi and Vince, however you want to call them, like, this team is set up for success seemingly for a minute. It doesn't look like we're going to be a poverty franchise in terms of like the Hornets or the Wizards, like, because of our age, because of the talent on this team. And like 20, that's young, dude. Like we're both 35 and up. Like that's 10 years younger than us. That's young, and that's awesome. Like, you look at, I mean, LeBron is different, but he's 40. Like, that's these guys are built different. 25-year-olds are built different. That's another reason to not jump. We're still a young team, very young, capable of a lot.
I love that. I'm going to piggyback off of that, because the young is what it is. But let me just read you off some names. Gigi Jackson, a lot of people love this guy. He's still developing. He literally played one college season, and then he played one NBA season. That was marred with a different team. This isn't the same team that Gigi Jackson came up with last season, where he played so well. Like, he obviously started off the season hurt, and he's going to get to his own. He's going to find his way. But Gigi Jackson is a guy that you are not paying a lot of money to, that you're bringing off the bench. But then another guy, Jalen Wells, he's only going to get better. Like, this dude has a ceiling, and it's lower than Gigi Jackson's, but it's still a high ceiling. And he is the consistent type player that you really need on a championship level team. He's not there yet. He could be in next year or the year after that, once he gets a little bit of the playoff scars. And then the other guy that we've talked a lot about is Vince Williams. Vince Williams is a true freak. He's the crazy that this team needs. If he can kind of become and get into his own, that guy is the player that you really kind of need on this team. And no matter if these guys are on the team moving forward or not, they will bring in a piece that should fit, as long as the right moves are made. So whether they're on the team or whether they're used to bring in somebody off another team in the offseason or during the season, I think if you look at those three guys, those three names, I think you have to have reasons to not jump, because they're going to be cheap pieces on a potential championship team.
Yep. And you just hit another reason not to jump. You said the word that I was going to cheap. The C's wrong. See, we've got a lot of guys on this team on very cheap contracts and very, very cheap. I mean, I like between Jalen, between the three guys you just mentioned, not to mention these other rotation guys. I mean, like Scottie Pippen Jr., who is capable of doing stuff. Like, I don't want to say Jay Huff is gone, but you've got guys that aren't. You got guys that you can play, all making very little money. And when you've got three guys that are due to make as much money, I mean, you mentioned earlier, Jaren is going to get paid. Like, these cheap contracts matter. They really matter. And it's a far cry away from the time when we were giving big money to guys that didn't really earn it. You know, when the cap spiked back in the day and guys like Timothy Mozgov was getting, I don't know, like 20 million a year, like those days are gone. We got quality guys making less than $2 million a year, and that's wonderful.
Right. No, that's 100%. And I do have two more. One, Art just put this up, so I'm going to give Art some love. But Brandon Clark is a reason not to jump, because I was jumping very early in the season, and I will always own up to my idiot things. Listen, you can ask my wife. I make a lot of stupid remarks, just stupid comments, and I like stupid decisions. But I was out on BC, and he did not look like he was the type of player that he would ever be again. And if you watch that TA documentary last night, which was phenomenal, shout out to Blevins and all his team that helped. BC is the guy that I thought, after just like that TA injury where he had that, the ACL, and then he came back and he didn't have the same explosion. I thought that's what it was going to look like. But you also know that this guy has a chance to develop himself and also get a little bit of the bounce back, whether he gets it all. And so his resurgence has been the ultimate key to kind of keeping this team intact, because they haven't looked good for a long time.
No. And I'm glad Brandon Clark has been really, really great to watch. Another reason to not jump, and this is, in my opinion, I just say the word bookkeeping. The bookkeeping that Kleiman has done. I'm just saying, you go and you look at a lot of the other rosters and a lot of the with this new CBA and the aprons and stuff. It's a lot of information to take in. It's kind of boring, but he has done a really, 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 really good job of building out this roster under the current CBA and having the money make like Brandon Clark's only making that contract looked really bad. Like a year or two ago, we were like, crap, off of his injury, if he's not going to come back. Now that contract looks great now. You know, like the Kennard deal only being a 1-year deal where if it doesn't work out, we can let him go, and still having the money to sign Santi, who has been one of the best bench players we've had this season, which I will say that is another reason to not jump. Santi has proven that he is a solid. Sorry, Wayno. I don't know. Wayno's not even here. It's a Saturday. Cool. Santi has proven that he is a rotation piece in the NBA. And I would say someone that you can play in your top 8 guys, someone that you're not afraid to run out there in a big rotation with Brandon Clark. And that's kind of 2 in 1. So the bookkeeping that Kleiman has done, along with the job that Santi has done, it's reasons to not jump, because some of these teams are paying guys like, I don't know, we could have been like OKC last year when they paid Hayward all that money to not do anything. You know, like our guys, the guys that are getting paid are doing stuff, and that's not the case around the league. And so I think that's a reason. Nothing's worse than paying dudes, I don't know, paying Chandler Parsons $70 million and the dude's not playing. You know, like there's nothing worse than that. We're paying dudes that are actually playing, and that's Kleiman's doing.
No doubt. And I agree with all of that. And Kleiman should get his flowers on the bookkeeping part of, what he's doing within the new CBA and all that. You know, he's not hurt us for the future. And that's what I've always given him his credit, is because he's set us up for success for the future, which is fine. The problem is, as fans, we see a window, whether it's open, cracked open, or completely just wide open. Like we see it, the potential with these guys here. Now, you could look at it and say, if John Morant was John Morant of 2 years ago, which I never would have thought I'd ever say that, then maybe that this all looks completely different. And that's probably rightfully so. So the fact that he's not made a lot of decisions. He should get some criticism, but overall he has the bookkeeping done well. But my last one's going to be the reason not to jump the most for me is you have Taylor Jenkins as your head coach. Like, he is the #1 head coach in the entire association. And I think that you have to kind of piggyback off of that. Sorry, is that too much? I almost just went ahead and just went with it and just deadpanned it and was going to end it with that one.
It was really too much. If I hadn't been mid-sip of a coffee, it would have been really good. But I almost just vomited. I didn't know who it almost just came right back up.
I couldn't help it. But no, my real reason is the defense has always been good. It will show back up at some point, I think, throughout this season. And whether or not we don't see it, I think the reason we don't see that the defense is any good is because simply there's a lot of guys that aren't good defenders that are getting more minutes than they should.
Yes.
And so at that point, you get some guys back healthy. Jaren, your best defender on the entire team, maybe get the legs underneath of Vince. Maybe Wells is hitting his rookie wall. Maybe they can figure out how to use Edey a little bit better and not so much in drop coverage. We'll see. But overall, the defense should return at some point to being a dominant defense, or at least good enough. And so we'll see. But I think that's a reason not to completely jump.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I think we talked about the best defenders, talked about defense, where it had gone. I think since the last game, the Grizzlies actually went up in defensive rating. So they're in top. I believe if I didn't make this, I think they're top 10 now. I think they're 10th. They were 13th. It's just gonna be. It's like you said, they're chipping away at it. Yeah. It seems like they're. I don't know. I'm with you. Just Grizzlies fans, don't jump. We just gave you like a whole mess of reasons. I mean, that was like 10 reasons to not jump. I mean, that's pretty good. I can't think of 10 reasons to do most things. And we just gave you 2 reasons to not jump off a bridge and still support your team. Pretty awesome. Another reason, this is kind of, I don't know why you mentioned it earlier. I didn't tell you we were going to talk about this. Another reason to not jump is because we had an awesome Tony Allen, the Grindfather documentary last night. If you are a Grizzlies fan and you watch this, you shout out Blevins. I went on X yesterday and I went to him and I was like, dude, that was a phenomenal just documentary, just very well made movie. Like I'm not a bad pet owner, but I was like watching it. I let my dog outside. I had it on and I got distracted and the dog ended up sitting outside for like 45 minutes because I was just like, man, this is really good.
The dog. Yeah, all right.
I know, but is he in here? Yeah, he gonna hear me upset. It was just really good. I don't know. What was your favorite part of it? I mean, I think the guys should watch it. It got me hype. It was really great seeing all those dudes talk about TA. Like, it was really cool.
I think that's where you look at it as anytime you can get your peers to talk highly of you, that has to make you feel some kind of way, right? And when you get all of that, the kudos, the credit that you've received from your peers within the game, and honestly, like some of your biggest rivals, it just shows that it doesn't. There's different ways to be a good basketball player. It's different ways to be good at anything, and sometimes you have to take a step back, and sometimes you do have a complete speed bump, whether it's a roadblock, whatever in your life, but also within the game, and you have to figure out how to adjust. And Tony Allen, the more athletic guy, right? Once he got into the league, he was kind of an offensive base. Well, he had that ACL injury, took a step back, and had to redevelop himself and learn that, hey, if I'm smarter and work a little bit harder, then you can outwork people and you might be able to outthink people. And at that point, if you give yourself an edge, that's really all you need, whether it's in life, but also just in the fact of the game. And so that's what I wish this team had, is a little bit more of an edge, but also, running through a wall type method or just kind of mythology. Like, if you have that thinking in your mind that I can run through that wall, I can do whatever, that's where it ends up coming to making you the best team you can possibly be.
No doubt, man. And I didn't realize a lot of the stuff from his younger years I wasn't fully aware of. And it's like that mindset that he has had since he was a kid. Like that's something that a lot of us were like, oh, we saw that in his college. Like, we were like, oh, those of us who kind of know his journey in college ball, and then from that to the NBA, that's where we kind of started being aware of that mindset. And it's like, no, man, this dude's had this for a long, long time. I just loved that. he paid for all of his family. It's just a very silly thing, but the fact that he paid for all of his family to go get a college education, I found to be really moving. And he just goes in there and just takes every single one of their diplomas and he's just so proud of his family. I don't know that you've got a family. Yeah, go ahead.
So let me piggyback on that. So my wife, we watched a very early part of the documentary before she fell asleep, but I don't know if people know this or not. So Tony Allen's kids go to my wife's school. And so he pulls up in the very beginning and he's got the hang tag, the exact same hang tag that I have to pick up your kids to get in the car line. And I saw that and I laughed out loud. But you know what she said is his kids are very good kids. Like, and I'm not talking about athletes. Like, yes, we see them playing in the same type of leagues. Like they're in the boy leagues, and I follow a lot of the boy leagues, but also we're in the girl leagues and basketball leagues. And she said the very first thing that came to her mind, she's like, you know what? I respect Desi and Tony. Desi's his wife, or Desiree, whatever you might call her. But I respect them because they are training and bringing up their kids to be good people. And she's like, yes, they're awesome athletes, but they're still good people, because what happened is in the champion, I think one of the biggest games, somebody got hurt and they were in overtime at the game that before us, which was Tony's youngest, and a kid got knocked down on the other team during the middle of the game. And his youngest, I can't remember his name, I think it might be Levi, ran over and helped the kid up out of nowhere. Nobody told him to, but he did it on his own, which it goes to show that they are training these kids and mentoring them and bringing them up to be good humans. In the end of the day, that's all you want as a parent. And so that was cool to hear that, because that you don't hear that about all kids all the time.
No, man, I was just saying, you can tell a lot about a kid's parents by the way they act around other kids. I mean, I don't know. That's awesome. His mama raised him right. I did love too his Desiree, her talking about the first time they met at like the Fenway game, and she was like, "That's not what you need to be, Brad." I thought she was like, "No." I love stories like that where you're like, "Ha, she thought you were lame." I don't know. Was this your favorite out of all the ones that Blevins has done?
I liked it a lot, man. I still love the Zebo one so much.
Zebo was great.
I don't know why. And maybe I need to go back and watch all of them again. And eventually I probably will in life. But I really love the Zebo one. Probably because I love Zebo the most out of all of them.
Zebo's our guy. He's our favorite. Like, I know he's one of your favorite Grizzlies of all time. He's one of my favorite. I love it. I'm assuming a Mike Conley one's coming next. I just don't. I guess we got to wait till he retires.
Yeah, you definitely got to wait. But you also got to let it breathe a little bit. And
you got to give us some air.
Doing one every year doesn't make sense. No. I think in 2 years we'll see it. I don't think Mike Conley's going anywhere. Knock on wood. Hopefully life is good to him still. But I really do want to see Mike Conley, because I think the conductor of it all, being the last guy to be brought in, will be probably pretty cool. And so, and Blevins just keeps developing, getting even better. So it's only going to give him some time.
No doubt, man. Those four, reminder of why I love this team and love this franchise.
100%.
Is really nice. Just in case you need a reminder, watch it, because it will rejuvenate you. Last thing before we get out of here, brother, what are you doing this weekend? It's the weekend outlook. We like to talk about what we're doing. Sports, are you watching? What's going on this weekend? I know spring training starting, college ball starting. I'm glad I've not had Uncle Buck on here, because Tennessee got beat by Ole Miss the other day, and I just got the text of the score, and I was like, bro, I'm not giving you the time of day with this. But like, what are you watching this weekend? Your kids playing any ball this weekend?
Yeah, so I am not coaching anything at the moment. Both my daughters are playing lacrosse, and so I'm I'm enjoying being a dad and not a coach, which is good. But I just recently started doing hitting lessons and for baseball. Yeah. And I built a cage in my backyard. All that's good. And I finally decided, you know what, let me go for it and just make figure out the business side of it and just open up some time slots and do all that. And dude, it filled up like crazy. And shout out to everybody that is coming. But I'm enjoying that part, because I have like seven, I think it's like 6 or 7 hitting lessons over today and then Sunday. That I do it. And so I enjoy getting one-on-one with the kids and helping them develop just a little skills in life of just hitting a baseball or a softball. And that part really I enjoy the most. But I'll be watching sports all weekend.
Yeah, me too. Is there an age limit for your hitting class?
No.
So
I usually do younger. So between 12 to 6.
You said no. I could sign up. You said no.
Oh, no, by all means. Yeah. I had somebody say, you know what? I just want to come and just sign up one time. I'm like, well, listen, your hips, you don't have dancers' hips anymore. So I'm not sure, you might hurt yourself.
You're going to get a sign up notification. It's going to be like Luke Hatmaker signed up. And I'm going to show up with I'm going to be dressed like Elton John in that Dodger Stadium. I'm going to be like, hey, buddy, let's hit. And let me tell you, baseball is the one sport that I'm just so bad. It's going to be bad for you.
Don't worry.
It's going to be bad for me. It's going to be bad for everybody. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Tonight is not going to be bad for everybody. The Grizzlies are going to win. We're manifesting it. We're being positive because there's a lot of reasons to be positive. We just gave you a bunch. So remember that, guys. Don't crash out. Don't crash out. It's bad luck for everybody. We will be back on Monday. Are you the show tonight? Are you guys going tonight?
Yep, we're doing a show tonight. I believe it's a 6:30 start.
Yeah,
so
early start
it'll be a 9.
Thank God it won't be that 8:30 start. Hated that. Stay positive, everybody. Have a good weekend. If we can leave you with anything like we do, remember these 2 things today. Remember to be a little weird and remember to smile. Bye, guys. We'll see you on Monday.